Streaming. Modify Facebook. String key. Copy. Paste. There we go. Description is required. Okay, fine. Oh, start. There we go. And then go live there too. And I should be live across everything, but just to make absolutely sure. Mic check 1 2 1 2. I'm coming through on 2 different feeds, on 2 different audios. Does that make a difference? Yes, 100%. Okay, cool. But then if I come over here, no, here. Turn on volume for X. Okay. Okay, cool. I'm glad none of that works. Awesome. Ow. Okay. I spent so freaking long trying to figure out how the hell to basically reorganize OBS, which is over here, which is opposite. It looks opposite, but whatever. But I spent so freaking long trying to figure out how to reorganize OBS to actually just for the sake of hold on a second. That's annoying. Okay, cool. But just for the sake of even just for the sake of even like making sure that my voice wasn't being recorded twice, but yet you could still hear the audio to videos that I'm going to be showing you online. At any rate, I am back unofficially because I meant to be back last weekend and I kind of screwed myself on. I don't even remember what the hell it was. But at any rate, I also want to make sure that I'm sharing my live stream across everything I possibly can right now. Let me see here real fast. Give me just a second. I'm going to log in with Kick, but I need the password for that shit. Bear with me here for just a moment. While I log into Kick so that I can share my live stream. What? Okay. I know what it is. Hold on a second. I need to go to Kick directly, actually. I think about it. And I'm going to have to hope. You know what? I'm just going to mute that real fast. Come over here, channel, and there we go. Okay. And then post that there. I'm also going to want to come over here to Twitch, and I'm going to want to sign out and sign back in to log out, log off, that one, there we go, there we go. I want to get onto here. I'm still trying to share this because it's just being stupid right now. There we go. Share to... Oh shit, you know what? I kinda can't share directly from Twitch to X because I'm still logged into the wrong X. Don't you just hate it whenever you're logged into the wrong X? Sorry, Elon, but you kinda had it coming. Oh god, I didn't realize what the hell I just said until now. Nope, not going there, not going there. Oh, jeez. Okay, there we go. Okay. At any rate, re-intro, I guess. So yeah, been a hot minute. I think I mentioned in the last live stream that I currently do not have my website up and going right now. Rather my web store, ridewithebs.com. It is down at this point because, in all honesty, I really just I lost my day job, and well, I didn't. Okay, let me back up for a second. The day job that I had for 5 years, I realized was a dead-end job for me, regardless of how much I loved it, regardless of how much I enjoyed it, regardless of the fact that it was enough to pay my bills, but that was unfortunately literally it. If I was able to save anything up, it would be like, $500 over the course of like a year if I didn't put a whole bunch of other financial strain on me. And it wasn't enough, and regardless of how much I loved I loved the fact that I was basically just getting paid to play with tech. I was working at TrackPhone for 5 years. I didn't disclose that because I didn't want it to really matter, but I'm disclosing it now because I have no intention of going back. I left that job on good terms, don't get me wrong. I stayed for my full 2 weeks, arguably. I'm going to say that I stayed for my full 2 weeks. I turned in my 2 week notice whenever I got another job at a sales firm. I'm not going to name what the sales firm was, but basically I was it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. You know, it was going to be a good challenge for me because it was door-to-door sales, but they were warm leads, right? So there was this whole thing where, you know, based on, you know, certain criteria that this other company was looking into, whatever like that, they would feed it to the sales firm, and they'd be like, okay, go knock on these houses. These are warm leads, right? They're looking for this service. And I'd be there and I would go to those neighborhoods, those specific addresses, as a matter of fact, and be like, hey, do you have this service, or do you have any service? Oh, we can get you hooked up with this service here. And I was making commission on that, but it was still tech related, but it was pushing my my sales skills a little bit more than what I had done with TrackPhone previously. Which is something that I was looking forward to. Not to mention the fact that the commission was way better per sale. But unfortunately, I found out very quickly, about a week and a half into it, that's about how long it took, a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that. And basically, I was told, you know, despite the fact that I was doing good with sales, even on my first day being out in the field by myself, which I had a decent amount of training and everything like that. You know, I didn't hit the ground running, but I also wasn't straggling either. I was kind of, you know, right there in between. You know, so I went through the training process. And then my first day on my own, I got my first sale on my own, and I was being told by everyone I was doing a really good job. Even my boss told me I was doing a good job with the type of numbers I was pulling in and everything like that. But he also then decided to tell me that you are either in the office by 9 a.m. or it doesn't matter what your sales numbers are doing. I'm not going to promote you. The problem with that is that you're not paying me per hour. You're not paying me to be at the office. You're paying me based on sales. If you're telling me I'm doing good on sales, but not going to promote me because of the fact that I'm not going to be in office at 9 a.m. whenever you're releasing us by like 1 or 2 p.m. to be out in the field, I got a problem with that. And I addressed that. And he told me he didn't care about my excuses. So I walked. Because I'm not going to put up with that hypocrisy. So I am, as of now, focusing solely on my two businesses. My first business, my baby business, being my video production business, and then, of course, this business being an e-commerce business. Right now, I have no income. Right now, I have no money. I'm relying on my girlfriend. She's been working a full-time job, and unfortunately, she hates her job, but I am putting my back up against the wall to break the damn thing down. And part of that process is that I'm, you know, live streaming more. I'm live streaming my editing sessions, and then I'm also focused on getting clients for my video business. And then whenever I get the money going for that, I will open my web store back up, continue with print to order items like t-shirts and beanies and jackets and sweaters and different things like that. And it's the same thing all over again, just I'm approaching it in a slightly different way. You know, I'm approaching it in the sense of actually being an entrepreneur. I am no longer Like I said, I no longer have a source of income right now. So this is what I know to do. This is, I believe, this is the more right path for me. If 5 years if over a decade, I'm going to say a decade and a half of being an employee, and 5 years at a job that I did love, but it wasn't enough for me, has taught me anything, is that I can climb a tree but it would be more like a wolf as opposed to a monkey, right? Monkeys are made to climb trees. Wolves are not necessarily made to climb trees. They can in a pinch, but they are made to thrive in, harsh conditions. That's just what they do. So I'm putting my back up against the wall to break the damn thing down. I am going full-blown entrepreneur, and I'm not worried about any sort of... I'm not worried about a job. I'm worried about earning an income. Right? I'm worried about growing... I'm focused on growing my businesses fully now, full-time. And right now, not going to lie, kind of sucks. It just does. But at any rate, so this show is going to stay the same with one major difference, and that is that I don't have my website right now up and going. Yeah, I don't have my website up and going right now, so I'm still looking at figuring out the Twitch bits thing, and just setting up different ways that if I'm providing you with enough value that you would find it in your heart and in your bank account to donate to my business enough that I can at least get the website back up and going, then I will be able to do that, and I'll be able to start promoting and selling apparel to continue the business. Other than that, I'm leaning harder into my video business, getting clients that way in my hometown and whatnot. And obviously that, if I play my cards right with that should be way more lucrative. But at any rate, I found a few things, a few articles that I wanted to address, and I gotta get rid of. I'm just gonna uninstall TikTok. Or not TikTok, Telegram. Okay. And then, oh yeah, shit. I almost forgot about going live on TikTok on this thing. Oh, can I get access to... I do not have access. Okay. Okay, I really hope this is gonna work because, at least as of right now, I don't know if TikTok Live on mobile is going to use my headset or if it's going to default to the microphone on my smartphone. I don't know. But at any rate, so I'm going to go ahead. For those of you that are on either Facebook or YouTube or Twitch or Kick, I'm just going to go ahead and start sharing my screen right now. TikTok, I can't help the fact that I can't share my screen right now because I don't have enough followers to go live on my PC, nor do I have the technological skill set to hack into my TikTok account to basically just go live on my PC regardless of it. So yeah. But at any rate, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to first article. Yes, first article right here. And I want to make sure that I'm not too big. Okay. So I'm going to take a drink real fast actually first. Not sponsored. Okay. Why is riding a bicycle in the city turning into a culture war? From momentummag.com. Is there a bicycle culture war happening on the streets right now? Okay. Is there a bicycle culture war happening on the streets right now? It's hard to ride a bicycle to work on a regular basis and not turn into a bike advocate. Well, yeah. People want to be safe, and riding a bicycle for transportation currently comes with significant risks. Yeah, that I can understand that definitely. But years ago, even with critical mass movements, the World Naked Bike Ride I'm not sure how this is going to work. Yeah, with TikTok, I'm still not 100% sure how to accept a I'm still not sure how to accept somebody that wants to come on live with me. Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, and similar. Okay, but yeah, years ago, even with a critical mass, even with critical mass movements, the world naked bike ride, a similar political act and similar political actions. That is a tongue twister. Um, the bike versus car debate had tones similar to had a tone similar to other civic debates. There were wins, there were losses, and very slow, glacially slow, yeah, movement forward. Something changed. Maybe, let's see here real fast. Something changed. Okay. Something changed. Maybe there have been too many wins of late for some, but the fight for safe cycling. No. But the fight for safe cycling infrastructure to protect bicycles is reaching a fever pitch. Okay. Yeah, I could see that. There have been attacks on those campaigning for safe cycling. Yes, there has. What was it? Just the other day, I was literally just riding my bike down the street, and I was just trying to go home. I was working my way home, and driver right behind me. I was staying off, on the side of the road, on the side of the street rather, and driver yelled at me from their car, "Get off the road!" And I'm like, I just gave him a thumbs up. Just that. Nothing special or anything like that, just that. And as they proceeded around me, guess what? The kid in the back seat stuck his body out the window and decided to throw a drink at me. What the hell as a parent are you teaching your child to do something like that? Like, that's just pathetic. Hey Sean, how's it going? Well, I finally figured out, the reason why it took me so late to get here was because of the fact that it took me about an hour and a half dicking around with OBS software to figure out how to get audio from my microphone recorded as well as audio from my browser recorded without having my voice duplicated. But other than that, I'm fine. It's all good. We're all good. So, am I coming through clearly, I hope? I hope that I'm coming through loud and clear, as crystal loud and crystal clear as I possibly can be right now. So, okay. There have been attacks on both campaigns. The rhetoric is unbearably predictable. Awesome. Top chat. I don't want top chat. I want live chat. Okay, cool. And I've got 3 viewers on YouTube right now. Sweet. I'm gaining traction. Momentum. Yes, there have been attacks on campaigns for. Sounds good. Awesome. for safe cycling infrastructure to protect bicycles is reaching a in Montreal, often see as North America's most European city, with a progressive take on cycling and cycling structure. Thumbtacks were thrown onto the bike lane. Oh my God. Thumbtacks were thrown onto the bike lane to get a rather stark point across. At Momentum, the comments and messages, though the vast majority of them are positive, have taken on the tone usually reserved for more hate-fueled advocacy positions. I wish you could have that background music like you did in those editing live streams. So the thing about that is that, okay, the reason why I'm not doing that is because of the fact that with my live stream whenever I'm live streaming my editing sessions, for the most part, I'm not talking. Right? For the most part, I am not talking. With something like this, I am talking. And so, this is me dishing out news and giving my 2 cents on different things. So I ultimately decided against it because of the fact that I am talking so much. I'll probably put background music on my shorts, but I'm not going to put background music on the live streams for Live with Ebs, just because of the fact that I am talking so much. It wouldn't make any sense comparatively to whenever I'm live streaming my editing sessions. So that's the conclusion that I came to, and the verdict that I reached, and however else you want to say it. Public service announcement, just lightly in the background, not loudly. I know, I get it. I've played around with it, and I played around with it for a little bit, and I just didn't really. I didn't like it. That's really it. I mean. Public service announcement from good friend Donna. Let's see what Donna says. I checked out your momentummag.com, and it is easily one of the strangest and most frightening things I've seen in a long time. I would not trust anything this mag, whatever, has to say, let alone on bicycles. Everyone should check this out. It is really, really weird. Beware of what? Let's be brave and take cycling out of culture wars, wrote Trudy Harrison, a conservative MP in the United Kingdom, in a recent opinion piece. I encourage every candidate standing in the next election to include walking or cycling on their leaflets. I'm still not sure what that means. It might just attract people who don't currently feel spoken to. People want to cycle more. We just need to let them do it. 100% agreed. 100% agreed. If you make infrastructure for sedans, trucks, vans, SUVs, big, 2-ton tank type vehicles, guess what the public's going to buy into? More and more and more. Whenever you have multiple wide lanes of traffic with speed limits 40 miles an hour or higher, even if you're talking about a even if you're talking about a residential area, guess what you're going to get a lot more of? Unsafe infrastructure for people outside of vehicles. Therefore, you're going to get a lot more people inside vehicles, and the next thing you know, you have to have a vehicle to go down the street and around the corner just to grab a half gallon of milk. Had a 50-hour work week. I'll stay up as long as I can, but I might fall asleep during the live stream. If I do, just letting you know, keep your work up. Love you, brother. I appreciate that, man. I really do. You don't have to stay up for that that late. I mean, you already know that. You already know you don't have to stay up that late. I get it. I'm working on doing better about starting earlier, and okay, I did say that I was dicking around with OBS to try to figure out the recording issue, but on top of that, I have no excuse for why I didn't start it earlier. I started it at around 6 or 7 or something like that. To figure that out, and that took me way longer than I expected. Why am I not streaming on? Why is it not streaming on Twitch? Is it really not streaming on Twitch all of a sudden? Stream. Am I really not streaming on Twitch all of a sudden? Son of a bitch. That's kick. Okay. Well, I am still streaming on Twitch. I just don't know why. Okay, whatever. I don't know. I'm going to keep that up. It's normally not an issue, but I had overtime this week. Otherwise, it would be all right for another hour or so. Yep. I hear you. Yeah. And, I even want to so ultimately, what I want to do is I want to really, I really want to start this earlier so that way I can also, chop it up in editing and just be right after the live stream and just be ready for tomorrow for the depth editing, so that way I can just go live first thing in the morning on BAM videos and do a live editing session with this footage here, and because I'm planning on doing something totally different, which is going to take me more time. So, it's going to be this live stream is probably going to go on for, this live stream has been, I've been live now for about 40 minutes or so, and I'm hopefully going to be live for, I really want to aim for at least 2 hours. I'm going to be really happy with 3, but to be on the safe side, I'm going to say 2. I didn't really I got confused as to what articles I had in my docket that I covered 2 weeks ago versus now. I didn't think I covered that many articles 2 weeks ago. Turned out that I actually covered all of them that I found, and so I was kind of scrambling at the last second to find more. And if you can't tell, I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 tabs open plus on X. So hopefully I can find some stuff on X to make up for my lack of finding articles tonight. But that's the other part of it, is just finding more stuff to talk about. So yeah, kind of screwed myself on that one, I will admit. Okay, let's be aware. Take this out of context. We need to. Harrison gets it. More cycling is a win across the board. It's not a selfish few. It's a selfless few who are paving the way for thousands more to benefit millions. 100%. 100%. So whenever I'm on the street riding my bike, as I usually do, that is not me trying to necessarily be a martyr or anything like that, and I have been accused of being that way. That's really just me sending the message to drivers that, hey, you need to watch out for everyone else around you that's not in a vehicle, right? Like, I'm not going to take my bike on the highway. I'm just not. Because I know I'm not going to be able to do 45 miles an hour plus on the highway. It's just not happening, even with my S18. So, I should be able to ride my bike anywhere that is not a highway. Anywhere that's not in Fort Wayne specifically would be either I-69 or... I'm not thinking of it right now, but the other one that goes the other directions. The I-69 goes north and south, and I'm forgetting what the other highway is that goes east and west, but whatever. But I shouldn't have to worry about going anywhere on my bike that's not an interstate highway or divided highway or whatever the case is like that. I should be able to make it to my family's house, which I live downtown. They live kind of just outside city limits, but not by much, right? The downtown city limits, I mean, they still live in Fort Wayne, but I should be able to bike to my family's house without having to worry about a driver mulling me down, and I have that fear. I look around it and realize, well, I've been cycling over Fort Wayne for this long, and I came into some very close calls. Fortunately, I'm young enough that my reflexes are good enough that I have managed to avoid either being ran over or whatever the case is like that. I have been clipped a few times. It was nothing serious, but at the same time, it was very scary, obviously. But I shouldn't have to worry so goddamn much. I shouldn't have to feel like I need to... I shouldn't have to feel like I need to wear a goddamn Iron Man suit just because of the fact that I want to ride my bike halfway across town. But that's just that's what I feel like I have to do. Like, I don't feel like I should have to. I don't believe that I should feel like that, but I do. And it has everything to do with the fact that drivers think that just because of the fact that they are comfortable with going 40 miles an hour plus down a school zone means that they should. I'm sick of it. Absolutely just sick of it. Here are some key reasons why a safety and efficiency issue is turning into a bicycle culture war. Urban versus rural divide. Okay. Urban planning, the push for bike-friendly infrastructure in cities often aligns with progressive urban policies aimed at reducing car dependency and enhancing livability. Yeah, that's the nature of it. Okay. A study by the National Association of City Transportation Officials, NACTO, highlights that cities with robust cycling infrastructure see significant benefits in public health and reduced. I just had something come across on TikTok. Reduced traffic congestion. These changes are sometimes met with resistance in rural or suburban areas where cars are essential due to longer distances and limited public transportation options. Well, no shit. I mean, that's a given. Like I was just saying, if you design a city that everywhere you need to get to via a vehicle because everything is so spread out and you have more parking than what you do commerce, that is going to be a problem for anyone outside of a car that doesn't like driving, and thus you're going to wind up causing more congestion, and just it's not going to be a fun time for anyone, because at that point then, okay, yeah, fine, the speed limit's 40 miles an hour or 45 miles an hour or whatever the case is like that, but you've got 7 stoplights and stop signs within a mile of within a mile, like literally within a mile. Nobody's going to be going more than 10 miles an hour at any given time for more than 30 seconds before they hit another red light, even though the speed limit's 40 miles an hour. It's just not going to happen. And yet that's exactly the logic that's being applied to designing American that's the logic that's being applied to the design of American infrastructure in way too many downtown urban areas that are even bigger than Fort Wayne. Like, it's not making any sense except for the part where, hey, guess what? City officials are in bed with city officials, and the main 3 auto manufacturers are all in bed with each other. So, hey, guess what? If we can cause everyone to go into debt to be able to keep our business alive, let's do that by making what we have now. Let me see what these changes are often. Rural areas. In rural and suburban regions, there's often resentment towards urban-focused policies, including those promoting cycling. According to the American Community Survey 2017, car ownership and reliance are significantly higher in these areas, leading to a perception that bike infrastructure investments do not address their needs. It is a city slicker debate. Okay, yes. Suburban and rural areas are usually more affordable, but also often come with people commuting to work in the city, which is a huge cost. Yes. Okay. So here's the thing. Is that if I had a remote job, right? If I had a remote job, I'd be able to work from home, obviously. I would then basically just wind up signing up for all the delivery stuff that I possibly could, and thus not have a need to have a car, right? I would sign up for all the, I would get my food delivered, my groceries delivered like I already do. I would, if I wanted to do takeout for some food from a local coffee shop or something like that, I'd have either Uber Eats or DoorDash or Postmates deliver it to me, or Seamless or whatever the case is like that. I bet you anything though, it would come out the same cost as having a vehicle that would get you there on your own fruition. Just like, or rather, as opposed to signing up for all these delivery services, right? the cost would come out pretty much the same. And I'm comparing and contrasting the cost of the food itself, the cost of the tip, the cost of the taxes and fees that all the different delivery apps want to charge. I'm also taking into account that you can sign up for discounts if you get, Uber One or whatever it is like that. It'll be like $10 a month, I think it is, or something like that. But they'll waive the delivery fee for you, so the only thing you really got to worry about is the tip. Then, either way, you're still paying. The only difference is that you can get Uber Eats, 3 times in one day and never have to pay a delivery fee. But that still means that you are also then expected to pay a higher tip, and in a lot of cases, a lot of people do. It's just, and plus the sales taxes and everything like that. You're going to be paying for it either way, right? However, houses in suburbia, houses in suburban areas that are way far away from downtown areas, they cost, the research I've done suggests that they cost pretty much the same, right? The research that I've done says that they cost relatively the same, and that they, in the sense of how much you're paying per month with your mortgage versus how much you're paying per month with the lease on the apartment or whatever the case is like that. So in that case, then it's not really a matter of straight up just, oh well, I'll just move out to the suburbs and have a car, so that way I save money because I'm not having to pay rent, which is expensive as hell, or either way you go, you're still spending money. But the main difference here is that I can actually walk somewhere. I can walk to so many different restaurants, so many different attractions, so many different food vendors or whatever the case is like that. I can literally right now walk around the street and down the corner and be at a campus that has several different food vendor options. Or I could walk the other direction and get myself some good ice cream. I could walk a little bit further and get myself some Domino's, whatever the case is like that. And it doesn't cost me anything for parking, and with it being a downtown area, with it being a downtown urban area, it's actually a lot. It's designed still for humans in a lot of ways, which is why there's so much walking and everything like that. I don't have to pay for parking. I don't have to try to find a parking spot. It's not a factor, and taking away that hassle of driving into downtown just to have to find a parking spot that is hopefully not going to charge you, or if it doesn't, then you're going to wind up parking way far away, and just live in downtown, or have or have the food or whatever it is that you want delivered. If you're going for an event, that's a different story. Maybe get a hotel for the night or something like that, and just walk down to it. I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas here at this point. Realty. With population growth, roads are never going to be enough. And they are never going to be free of congestion. More roads, more cars. This is not up for debate. Okay, yeah. What can help is a massive investment in transit, alternative transportation, both for personal and business needs. There should be zero delivery trucks clogging city streets. Zero electric cargo bikes and zero electric cargo bikes and similar are already here. This is the way forward. 100% agreed. Environmental concerns, climate change activism. Climate change activism. Cycling is promoted as a sustainable alternative to driving, reducing carbon emissions. Research from the European Cyclists Federation shows that cycling produces zero emissions compared to the average car's 271 grams of CO2 per kilometer. This aligns with the environmentalist movement, which is typically supported by progressive groups advocating for policies to combat climate change. Okay, here's the thing. I'm going to keep going, actually. Opposition to environmental policies. Some conservative groups view the environmental policies as economically restrictive. The Heartland Institute and conservative think tank argues that the cost of such green initiatives outweigh their benefits, suggesting that they impose unnecessary economic burdens. Heartland Institute 2017. Reality. Okay, that word was reality, not realty, but reality. Reality. As with other environmental issues, it is a pay now or pay later scenario. We continue to sell out future generations while the price tag for solutions continues to exponentially grow. While the price tag for solutions continues its exponential growth, or as many European countries and some American cities are realizing, we take advantage of some of the lowest hanging fruits. We take advantage of some of the lowest hanging climate fruit right now, and make it happen. Alternative transportation is so easy. Transportation in general is a massive source of climate change emissions. Okay. I wanted to get through all that real fast just so I can say this. There's a reason why I haven't really talked about climate change very much on here, and that is because of how politicized it has become. I realize the topic itself is not inherently a political topic, but other people are politicizing it, and I want this to be as much of a politically free conversation possible. I have lived my whole life politically free. I don't engage in politics at all, or at least as much as I can help it. I actively stay away. I just do. That's just to me. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm looking at starting up at least 2 or 3 businesses. At least 2. Definitely 2. Potentially 3 businesses. I'm looking to scale them. I'm looking to franchise them. I am the most purple person that you will ever meet. I believe in free market capitalism, economic capitalism, not the politicized version. It's just unfortunate. As much as I would love to talk about climate change and all the benefits of being proactive towards all the benefits of being proactive instead of reactive, and working towards cleaner energy for everyone. And I would focus on the technological aspects of it rather than, I would focus on the technological aspects of it, as well as the financial aspect of it. It's become too politicized right now for me to be comfortable talking about it. But whenever the day comes that it's not politicized anymore, I will hammer that sucker hard. You can bet on that. It's going to take time. It is going to take a lot of effort. And that's really all it is that I want it to not be politicized. Whenever it is not politicized, I will talk about it. But until then, I'm going to keep my mouth shut about it. This article happened to bring it up. I wasn't expecting that, but it did, and I just wanted to read through it real fast. Economic implications. Okay. Here we go. Investment in infrastructure. Developing bike lanes and infrastructure requires significant public investment. Critics argue that these funds could be better spent on other pressing issues. A study by the Reason Foundation, 2019, found that while bike lanes can improve traffic and safety in dense urban areas, their benefits are less clear in suburban areas and rural contexts where car travel remains dominant. Okay. What I will say is that this is a double-edged sword. Okay. There is a less clear benefit for people that live in suburban areas and rural areas, right? Out in the country. And what I will say is that from my understanding, people that live in rural areas, they live out in the country because they basically just want to be away from all of the noise, right? They want to be away from the noise. They want to be away from the chaos, and they realistically are introverts in a lot of ways, right? Because it is not cheaper. It is not, and unfortunately, anyone who thinks that living out in rural is cheaper are fooling themselves. Here's why I say that. Upfront costs, right? Upfront costs of, a house out in the rural area, that in itself is cheaper. You are spending far more time and energy and gas and just more wear and tear on your vehicle whenever you have to go pretty much literally anywhere. Like literally almost anywhere you have to go, be it to the grocery, be it to work, be it to, hang out with friends, or pretty much anywhere you have to go. You are spending way more gas money. You're putting way more mileage on your car. You are, and even in order to just get internet, like decent internet out in rural area is possible now. Didn't used to be that way 5 years ago even, but it is possible now. The thing is that decent internet now for out in rural area is a premium. It is. It's way more affordable now than what it has been in a long time, but it is still at a premium right now. I think like even something like Starlink is like $500 or $600 up front for all the equipment that you have to buy, which isn't much. Like it's not much equipment, but it's still a hefty price tag. You pay that one time, and then it's like, I think it's like $100 a month or something like that for service, which realistically isn't bad. That is not bad, especially for the type of speeds that I've been seeing, as long as they're reliable speeds. Now, in comparison to suburban areas, okay, the primary difference is, this is a very fundamental difference. It's not a difference that most people are going to pick up on, but I've kind of come to my own conclusion about it, because with suburban, you've still got neighbors, right? You've still got neighbors just like you would with downtown. It's just that it's still in a lot of ways, at least can be quieter, because suburban neighborhoods can be out like in the middle of the country and be away from the city. But the main thing is that it's still away from everything, right? Suburban areas, they by design, they don't, the city zoning laws don't actually let businesses be ran in a suburban area, because they are strictly residential. They're not mixed use. And, in some cases, I can kind of see where that would be a selling point for people that just want peace and quiet. You're going to get that a lot more with a suburban area, but you can still have a sense of community because of the fact that you can be surrounded still by neighbors at the same time. So it's a really odd, it's just a really odd gray area, right? The problem is that you are still so far away from everything, right? You still need a car to be able to get anywhere or do anything or anything like that. And internet is a little bit better in suburban areas than what rural areas can be. It is still at a premium, and it's not nearly as fast from what I understand. I could be wrong about that, but internet where we are, like, I just recently upgraded us to fiber optic internet, and we are very close to downtown, right? So we're only paying like $65 a month, I think it is, whatever their gigabit internet speed is. It's either 65 or 95, I'm not remembering which. But it's, for what we're getting, it is insanely cheap. I don't know how much I don't know how much suburban internet would be. I would imagine that it would be still gigabit internet speeds. They would still have to offer gigabit internet speed both up and down. But I could see them charging more because maybe they just don't have the infrastructure out there yet, so they have to make it. Or, whatever the case is. Like, I don't know. But suburban areas, you still need a car to be able to get anywhere, right? Just like rural. And that is a fundamental similarity between the two. So, reality, people who run small businesses, especially mom and pop shops on beloved main streets, are real troopers. Agreed. They often invest their whole lives in these businesses and are fearful of any changing that could cause disruption. Yeah, I get it, but at the end of the day, the game of business is either thrive or die, and you don't thrive by remaining stagnant, by just being comfortable. You thrive by jumping on opportunities that make sense for you to jump on for your business to stay alive. That's just the way it is. That's the nature of the game. Nobody made that rule. That's just the nature of it. And rightly so. The reality is complete street planning, including more pedestrian areas, and more cycling means more people who are likely to stop at shops. Cities are planning for the people who live in neighborhoods as opposed to those who drive through them. This is an economic win for small businesses. Yes, agreed. And it's so stupid to me that it's so stupid to me that to even have this argument and be like, oh, well, if people can't park, then they're just not going to come and shop. Whenever the reality of it is that you can probably fit, I'm going to say you can fit at least 6 or 7 bicycles in one parking spot for a car. And that one car is most likely going to be carrying one person. And whenever I say car, I mean vehicle, sedan, truck, van, SUV, whatever the case is. An 8-person SUV is usually going to be carrying 2 things: your suitcase and your fat ass. And most people don't carry a suitcase anymore. If you know, you know. And that's all I'm going to say on that note. Cultural. Apparently I started this live stream too late for myself because I'm already starting to fall asleep too. Cultural identity. Lifestyle and values. Bicycling can symbolize different lifestyles and values. For some, it represents a commitment to health, environmentalism, and community engagement. A survey by the League of American Bicyclists found that regular cyclists often advocate for broader and social environmental changes. Conversely, others may view cycling as impractical or elitist, particularly in areas where driving is the norm, like all of North America. Okay, yeah. This part right here, especially, impractical or elitist. That is so close to being a contradiction on itself. Because the thing of it is that, well, I'm always going to default to the idea that if you don't think you can ride a bike, you are right. If you think you can ride a bike, you are right. I stand by that 100% because I thought I was too out of shape to ride. I thought I was going to fly away with the wind. I thought I was going to pass out after biking for a half a mile because I'm just not physically fit. And thus it kept me off my bike for a while. And one day my car just broke down in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the night, in the middle of the week, in the middle of a small town that it was dead hour. Nobody was awake, and I didn't have the money to repair or replace it. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to see if I can do this. I rode my bike the mile, almost 2 miles down my street to the library. And at the time I was living at my family's house, I rode my bike down that street. I was told I would die. I didn't die. I am still here. So, it kind of, whenever you realize that it kind of sucks to take opinions from people that haven't lived through the experiences that you're living through, whenever you take advice from somebody who hasn't been there and done that, it's very easy for them to paint a very negative picture in your head, even if they have no clue what the hell they're talking about. So, yeah. Is it just getting super hot right now or what? It's really not getting that warm. Okay, the reality is like all over North America. Political symbolism. Oh, God. I'm going to hate reading this article. I am absolutely going to hate reading this part of the article. Cycling has become a political symbol for some. Yeah. And the war on the car has become a popular... Oh, okay. I know. I get what this is saying now. I get it. I think I know where they're coming from now. There's a podcast called The War on Cars. I've heard it once. I mean to keep listening to it, but I also keep forgetting to resubscribe to it. Yeah, I recently quit YouTube Premium and because I couldn't afford it, and so now I'm looking at I've got myself signed up for a different podcast app, and that is one that I completely forgot to resubscribe to. Oops. More than no. Warren Coach has okay. Warren Cars has become a talking point for right-wing politicos looking to rally a vote. Back in 2010, former Toronto mayor, the late Rob Ford, first starting campaign on a pledge to stop the war on cars in the city. More than two decades late, people including his brother and Ontario Premier Doug Ford still hold up the flimsy catchphrase. Oh, jeez. Wow. I cannot believe that I actually couldn't figure out how to pronounce that damn word to good effect. Progressives often see it as a step. Wow. And this is still on the first article. Progressives often see it as a step towards sustainable living, while some conservatives view the emphasis on cycling as part of a greater liberal agenda. Oh my God. Those poor people. Those poor people always wanting to make everything political. A Pew Research Center study, 2014, highlighted how transportation preferences often reflect broader political and cultural divides. The reality is that more cycling infrastructure is added. As more cycling infrastructure is added, the more of the mix of cyclists begin to change. Success means that there's a real diversity in the bike lanes. When safe cycling infrastructure coaxes a wide swatch of the population to give it a try and stick with it when real change happens. Okay. Am I about done here? Yeah. Okay. Last part, right? Well, I'll just go ahead and do this real quick. Cultural identity. Okay. So, yes. There is an argument to be made where it's the rich that are only able to afford things like nicer street racing bikes. I mean, hell, I've got a Scott Addict over here that whenever it was bought, it was bought for me as a replacement bicycle. It was $1,800, right? The reason for that is because of the fact that it is a very lightweight, very sturdy, drop style handlebar bicycle. It is a street racing bike. Yeah, right here we go. Okay, cool. It is a street racing bike. It is made for the street. It is made, it's a 5-pound carbon fiber street racing bike. It's made to be super it's made to be ridden hard, ridden fast. As long as I take care of it, it will take care of me. Trust me, I've put it through some shit, and it has survived 100%. It can take a pounding. It really can. And I've ridden on a $500 bike. At the time it was a lot of money for me, but I scrimped and saved and everything like that, and I got it. And as good as what it did me, it was still a very heavy bike. It was in some ways it was very awkward. I didn't really realize, that's one of those things where you don't really realize how awkward a bike is or how awkward a car is until you ride or drive in a nicer one, right? Like, I think my girlfriend's Corolla is pretty zippy, right? Like, it's a 23 hybrid Corolla. It gets like 40 some odd miles to the gallon because it does like this whole switching between gas and electric type deal. I was driving behind a semi-truck at 75 miles an hour on the highway, and all of a sudden the RPM just zeroed out because, I don't need to use any gas. If I'm going to be behind a semi-truck, I can switch over to pure electric. Hey, that was kind of fun, in all honesty. But I digress. But, and hey, compared to the RAV4 that she was driving around in, the Corolla was way zippier, way more horsepower and everything like that, because it was a smaller package, right? So, my $500 bike had nothing on my, $900 bike, and my $900 bike had nothing on my $1,800 bike, right? So, it took me a while to get used to how the $1,800 bike rode and felt and everything like that, comparatively to my $800 bike. And then, of course, my $500 bike was different still than my $800 bike was. So, in the context of what you're using your bike for, Yeah, sure. There's super expensive bikes out there that are priced within the line of a used car, right? Um, but then there's also plenty of decent bikes out there that are priced for only a few $100s or even less. I personally wouldn't go quite that much lower than $100. But if you know what you're doing, then you can just Frankenstein a bike together from old used parts and be happy. You can. I'm not saying, don't do it. I'm saying if you know what you're doing, go for it. There's a reason why I went with a custom built PC, as opposed to a Mac, an Apple computer or something like that, where it probably would have ran me about the same financially. But I'm enough of a tech head that I wanted to pick up my own custom parts. I wanted to really make my PC, and I have a very, very emotional connection with everything that is inside my case, including my screens and my RGB keyboard and just, everything that I've got here. Because I picked it out and I work with it and I clean it and I take care of it and maintain it and reorganize things constantly. I swapped out the CPU cooler recently because the original cooler that came with the motherboard wasn't cutting it for me anymore, so I went ahead and got a bigger one, and I got an RGB one. That's just not something you can do with a Mac. But circling back around here, I went with a store-bought pre-built bicycle from a bike shop right here in town. And I have been loving it. I have been maintaining it at least as much as what I have been able to recently. Now that I have no money, and I've put some things on it that were add-ons that are for me, and I have been enjoying this arguably in a lot of ways way more than what I ever enjoyed my car. Back whenever I had a car. Me and this bike have been through some shit together. We've been through some rainstorms together. I rode it through most of last winter because, in all honesty, there just wasn't enough snow and ice on the ground to not ride. Yeah, sure, I was cold. I wasn't cold, but because I had, I actually was not cold because I have proper winter gear, right? I invested in winter gear. I've invested a lot in summer gear too. To keep myself cool, keep myself warm, whatever the case is like that. I've invested in keeping this bike safe. I've got a tracker on it. I've invested way too much money in lights. But I digress. Can cycling be made out to be elitist? The answer is yes. Is that in its nature to be elitist? No. You're gonna see some people that go all out, balls to the wall, and just they have fun spending money on things, and they find a hobby, so they spend as much money on that hobby as possible. For other people, cycling is a lifestyle. Me, I'll pour as much money as I possibly can into my bike, but at the end of the day, it's also my bike, so anything that goes wrong with it, I got to figure out what the hell I need to do to fix it, or whatever the case is. And I just don't have the money to pour into having a professional do it right now, so I would have to learn how. That is the exact opposite of elitist. That is not scrapping, but the other one. Being, I'm not thinking of it right now. At any rate, public space and rights. Space allocation. The debate over public space allocation reflects deeper issues about who and about who has the right to use these spaces. A study by the University of California, Berkeley 2015, showed the introduction of the bike lanes can lead to significant conflicts over road space, particularly in dense populated urban areas. Okay, fair. Rights and safety. Cyclists advocate for safe streets, often clashing with motorists who feel cyclists complicate traffic flow. However, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, 29 reports that increased cycling infrastructure and significantly increased cycling infrastructure significantly improves safety for all road users. Yet the perception of cyclists as a traffic nuisance persists in many communities. The common argument being that automobile drivers pay for roads through taxation. Why should they share it with cyclists? Reality. Road space is public space, and public space is dwindling. There will inevitably be too many people using not enough space. The most efficient use of space is the best path forward. Oh, hold on a second. Hey, I'm live right now. What's up?
Well, truck's down.
Oh.
Went to go leave work, don't have drive, don't have reverse, don't have low gear.
Yikes.
All I have is park.
Ugh.
And I just pushed it across my fucking parking lot.
Okay.
This is heavy.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. You want to know what's really funny about you telling me this?
Why?
Well, like I just said, I'm live, but I'm live on Ebs.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about, I was actually just getting done with with this article about talking about how, cycling in urban areas versus driving in urban areas.
Well, I was going to walk home, but I just still need to go get my daughter, so I called Sebastian and had him come and get me.
Ah, okay.
Because I figured that yours was probably at work with the car.
Yes, she is. Yep. So.
But I have transmission fluid at the house. I just got to go get it. I think it's because the transmission fluid's low from when Jay borrowed the car and ran it into a concrete pole, or ran over the concrete pole at the gas station.
Oh, jeez.
Because she knocked one of the axles loose.
Wow.
Yeah, and can you explain why it's been hard shifting really bad the last couple of days?
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping it didn't take out the whole transmission.
Yeah. I would say she doesn't get the keys anymore after that.
What are you talking about? She's out of my house.
Oh.
She's been a bitch since Wednesday, and I kicked her out.
All right. Yeah.
I kicked her out fucking, 2 o'clock this morning?
Okay. Do you want me to walk away real fast?
If you want.
Okay. All right. I will be right back.
Oh, we were having that conversation.
Okay, now I'm back. I had to take that phone call. Okay. I'm still not sure how to. Yeah, I'm still not sure how to get other people on here on TikTok. Is that it? Co-host with creators. Okay. Oh, okay. Can't connect all and can't disconnect when all there are, okay, whenever there are no guests. So how the hell do I get guests on here? Okay, I don't know. Whatever. Okay. The debate over public cycling advocates' rights and safety. Cyclists advocate for safe travel, often clashing with motorists who feel the common argument. Okay, yeah. Reality. Road space is public and dwindling fast. Not only that, the most efficient use of space is the best path forward. More people and more goods can be transported around cities more efficiently using subways, bicycles, and cargo bikes. That these choices come with so many additional benefits cannot be discounted. Not only that, but in most jurisdictions, cyclists pay plenty of tax, just not a gas tax. Correct. A common misconception, actually, I'm not sure this is going to go into that or not. In cities, much of the road work is paid via property tax, which we all pay regardless of renting or owning a home. Everyone pays plenty of taxes, and if taxes are the argument, it should be what the best use of those taxes. It should be the best use of those tax dollars. Let's see if I can get him on here or not. I don't know. Okay. Even the most conservative of economists would argue that throwing money at the most inefficient of people movers is a questionable business practice at best. Philip Crosby once said, "Slowness to change usually means fear of the new," and that could very much be the case when it comes to urban cycling. But understanding these complex dynamics, we can better appreciate why riding a bicycle is becoming more than just a mode of transportation. It is turning into a symbolic battleground in some strange cultural war. It doesn't have to be this way. It really doesn't. It absolutely does not. And something I will say is, okay, yeah, especially that tax thing. Like, there are more tax dollars allocated to infrastructure from paying property taxes. Like, okay, yeah, sure. I haven't actually put gas into a car in a very long time. That is because of the fact that I have been riding a bike for a very long time, a bicycle for a very long time. And that is very much on purpose. You can raise the gas prices all the hell you want to. It's going to incentivize me to find different ways to not drive, to not pay for gas. Like, and, you know, and especially with my electric bike, I pay for the electricity. Electricity happens to be cheaper than what gas is, and and it's not even close. Like, it just isn't. So the idea that, oh, well, you can't use this because you don't pay for it. Okay. And so with that being the case, then well, with that being the case, which is wrong, I do pay for. I do wind up paying for road and for streets and infrastructure and everything like that through paying rent. Whenever I had a job and had income and everything like that, it's kind of hard to pay for things whenever you don't have an income. But whenever I had a job, whenever I had a source of income, that it was, first of all, that income was being taxed, and I'm willing to bet that a lot of that money was probably going to infrastructure in some way. And on top of that, you've got the fact that paying rent on my apartment, even the half the rent of the apartment, that a lot of that money is probably going to the property taxes of that apartment complex, which goes towards infrastructure. So that's where the whole, oh, well, you're not paying you're not paying for the road because you're not even buying gas. That argument goes out the window whenever you realize that most of the money that comes to infrastructure to keep it going is actually coming from things like paying property tax, or even just having a job. It is. So, most of it is not coming from you paying for gas. Most of the money that goes into you paying for gas goes to it goes to the oil companies. It goes to the gas companies, the companies that are actually out in the ocean drilling for gas, drilling holes into the earth to get you your gas. And then, of course, they're going into the pockets of millionaires and billionaires that want to kill us. So the argument completely falls apart, worse than a house of cards. So, at any rate, let's see what this is saying. Affordable Pro Bike. Okay. Affordable Pro Bike set to turn the market upside down, back in stock after rapid sellout. Van Rysel. Okay. This is going to be new for me. The replica edition of the Van Rysel RCR Pro, as used by Men's World Tour team, I'm not even going to try that one, is available for purchase again after it previously sold out within minutes of being put up for pre-order in April. Retailing £9,000? I'm not sure. Actually, wait. Yep, that's pounds. Jeez, $11,000, almost $11,500. Okay then. The bike is clearly still very expensive. However, it undercuts the competition by thousands of pounds. No, jeez, right there it is. Okay, I didn't have to guess. With similar spec bikes elsewhere coming in at over 12,000 pounds, the RCR Pro has already tested victory on 23rd occasions in the 2024 season. Its most recent wins came via that person and Andrea Venderam at that thing. Okay. At the start of the current season, AG2R rider Oliver Nason was so impressed with the new machine that he said it would turn the market upside down in the coming months. In this video, and there's nothing playing. Okay, cool. The bike was officially unveiled last November at the time that Decathlon became headline sponsors for the AG2R team. Van Rysel is Decathlon's in-house bike brand, and you can purchase Van Ryssel's bikes from Decathlon's website. Okay. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing any of these words right because I don't read French. So, also quietly opened its first bike shop. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I mean, this is looking like a serious bike, and this is definitely a bike that it makes sense that it commands such a higher price tag, because I mean, look at this. You got the drop style handlebars, the seats way the hell up here. You got the super smooth and narrow tires that's gonna be really good for efficiency and speed and everything like that. This derailleur is probably super high end. Two bottle holders right down here and here. The thing probably weighs like less than 5 pounds. It's just an overall beast of a, you got the disc brakes, probably hydraulic disc brakes if I had to guess. It's an absolute beast of a bike. And this is actually in a lot of ways very similar to my Scott Addict, as a matter of fact. See if I can find my bike real fast. There is sure, I'll go with that one. Yeah, that's basically my bike. Like, it may be a little bit smaller, something like that. TikTok, sorry, you can't see this. But yeah, no, that's my bike right there. 30 disc brake, carbon fiber, road bike, everything like that. Yeah. So yeah, no, there's a lot of ways that's very similar to this, and I can absolutely vouch for the fact that it's an awesome ride. It really is. Like, there is a reason. There is absolutely a reason why bikes like these command such a high price tag, and it's because of the way it's built, the materials that it's made from. It is a super quality bike. It is made to be ridden basically every day, and it's in a lot of ways for me it is a car replacement easily, because I can get around Fort Wayne like nobody else's business, like butter, hot knife through butter. It just they're so yeah, I can definitely understand where they're coming from with demanding such a high price tag for this bike. It is a seriously high quality bike. So yeah, absolutely. The fact that it came down that much is impressive, but it's still expensive as shit. Okay, shopping for a non-electric family bike. Which option would you pick? I am getting very tired. Okay. Which bike would you pick? Okay, especially putting 4 kids in a cargo bike like that with seemingly no fixed seats, like no fixed seating inside that bucket. It's gonna be interesting. A few weeks ago, I explained a conundrum. I have greatly enjoyed riding my leisurely e-trike, but I haven't gotten enough exercise. One of my original family biking goals was to get more exercise with my children. However, as my husband describes it, the pedal assist trike is like coasting uphill both ways. Fun, yes, but not necessarily a source of fitness. So that's the thing is that the common misconception about electric bikes is that you don't get any exercise whatsoever. And the trick to that is that you can get as much exercise out of an electric bike as what you want at any given second, right? So you can get some. A lot of e-bikes, even my S18, like it had 5 levels of assist all the way down to 0, right? And so obviously I could choose if I wanted to get more exercise, and I did. I did that whenever I went on the trails or something like that. Some of the trails were a little bit wider, so I focused less on getting exercise and more on my speed. But there are other parts of the trail, of the trails around Fort Wayne, the River Greenway Trail, that I cut my speed down to 1, or in some cases 0, so that I could be more safe and because maybe it was a blind curve or something like that, or maybe it was super narrow, in which case it wasn't made for me to go fast. It was actually made for me to just kind of enjoy it, and obviously, I'm not going to try to zip through all of the trails on an e-bike if I just need to get going, right? So that is a factor that I had to take in consideration, and so there are some times to where I just wanted to go for a ride, and I just chose to treat my S18 more like a motorcycle rather than a bicycle, and that works perfectly fine too. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a matter of what you want to do in the moment that matters most, right? So, if you wanted to get more exercise, turn it all the way off and just start pedaling, and you will get your exercise in, because that bitch is heavy, right? So versus the other way around, if you need to get going somewhere, I went ahead and cranked that throttle all the way, and I got going. At 30 miles an hour, but still, a hell of a lot faster than 10 miles an hour. So, thus I have been toying with the idea of returning to a non-electric cargo bike. This is particularly relevant. This is particularly relevant as I am riding both with two young children in my cargo box and my newly independent kid riders. This means my e-assist doesn't increase our speed or range because I have to ride at the ability, pace, and distance that accommodates our slowest kid rider. It therefore seems a most opportune time to ditch the motor and pedal myself with little ones, getting some good exercise while my big kids learn to pedal themselves. I could see that. I can see that, and I don't think you. Again, I still go back to, I don't think you would really need to do away with the whole bike. You can just turn the electric. You can just turn the electricity off and pedal it like a regular bike. At least I'm pretty sure you can, as long as it's a brushless motor, or rather, as long as it's a brushless hub. And the only thing that's really slowing you down is the weight of those components, then you're going to be able to pedal it just like you would a regular standard analog bike. And plus, you don't know when in certain scenarios that you would need that kind of power to be able to go over a hump or something like that, and you've got extra weight. So I've been in situations like that before where, it was kind of tight quarters, so I went ahead and I had the electric hub turned on, but it was all the way down to 0, and for just a moment, literally just like a second or two, I flipped my motor on to level 1 and used my throttle to kind of help get me out of a particularly tight space. Yeah, or not a tight space, but a little bit of a bump, and then I would turn it back down to 0 again. So I would not say to necessarily ditch the e-bike entirely. I would just say conserve it so that your child that's on their own bike can keep up easier, but you still have the option if you just need it for like a second or something like that. So. With that crazy idea in mind, I took the kids out for some test rides. Which option should you pick. I had to test the bikes with motors, but I would purchase the human-powered model. Okay. The Steel Steed. Definitely got quite the load going there. I saw this Blue Beauty pop up for resale, and I knew I had to have it. A few details. I have been wanting to try a Dutch-made bike for years, and this looks just like the original Emily Finch bike, which she rode more or less with 6 children, 4 in front and 1 on the back. Okay. Back rack. Another pedaling on an attached tow bike. Yep. Okay. This one had an aftermarket motor. Okay. This one had an aftermarket motor installed, which could be removed if I wanted to stick to my plan to get a human-powered cargo bike and try to copy Emily. Okay. A few details. Work cycles. Used from the local seller, $3,500 with rain cover and motor. Would have to pay to have motor removed. Yeah, I say you shouldn't have to have the motor removed. Just don't use it. Steel frame. So yeah, your bike is already going to be fairly heavy as it is. To keep the electric hub on, it would be negligible compared to a steel frame's weight. Pros. My kids love this bike. See my daughter's illustration above. Rides like a dream. My daughter says very comfortable ride, especially for passengers. The e-assist is fast and throttle, and the throttle button is very helpful when getting started. Spacious and comfortable cargo box with bench seat. It's a gorgeous bike. Cons. Heavy. I'm not surprised that it's heavy. I tried riding it unassisted without kids, so no load weight, and the bike itself is extremely heavy. How did Emily battle? Yeah. Steel is heavy. Yeah. Swept back handlebars and upright riding position. I have learned I don't like the feel of this style of handlebars with the hope of riding unassisted. I am looking for a more athletic biking position. Okay. Would have to pay to remove the aftermarket motor in order to get exercise, but the motor was the bike's best feature. There's a conundrum for you. I mean, thinking that you have to get rid of something that's actually the best part of that thing, even though you can just do without it. Like, you can literally just not use it. I didn't feel as confident in the brakes. I used to really push hard to bring I had to really push hard to bring this bike to a stop. The bike was hard to maneuver from stopped and hold upright when slow stopping. I didn't feel confident riding it unless I was using the e-assist. It is comfortable when moving, but I worried about tipping the box over when it was heavy with a full load of children. It's understandable. My kids hated the rain cover, and it squished them too much and didn't fit their helmets. Fair. Overall, I hated this. Okay. There's a few here. Let me double check how much there is here actually. 3, 4. Okay, so there's only 4. Yeah, there's only 4. So that's not terrible. So I'll go ahead and go through all 4 of these real fast. Option 2, the jittery speedster. Okay. Bad bike, no bike. Okay. A few details. Yaba supercargo front cargo bike, non-electric with open loader box. 3734 from the Clever Cycles with baseboard, open loader box, rain cover, and bench seat. Okay. Aluminum frame, cable steering. Okay, fair enough. Pros, lightweight with aluminum frame, bamboo baseboard, and fabric box. This bike felt lightweight even when fully loaded with kids. Fast, I test rode the E version with no assist the entire bike. With no assist the entire bike, and I felt fast. My kids said too fast, and this is way faster than our bunch trike. I question that. I question that because, in all honesty, unless you're going faster than 30 miles an hour, your kid should not be saying that's too fast. I question that, and that's all I'm going to say to that. Super responsive. The cable steering response, okay, yeah. So super responsive. The cable steering responds to every slight movement, turning quickly, and the brakes were amazing. So much so that I had to be careful to not stop too fast. Decent sized cargo bike with bench seat. Step through frame. I enjoyed the ease of this, accommodating dresses more comfortably and much easier when riding pregnant / postpartum and out of shape. No high leg. Okay, yeah. Great feel and fit. I love the handlebars and seat. Immediately, I know this can be changed, but it feels amazing to ride with the perfect seat and handlebars. The bars provided a more athletic riding position, which is just what I wanted. Okay. I loved riding this bike. I was sure I would ride it immediately if I bought it and not mind the absent motor. It felt light, fast, and zippy. No motor needed. Cons: the steering frame was too responsive. The front wheel felt wobbly, responding to every shift in weight. On the uphill section, I zigzagged somewhat dangerously as I shifted my weight side to side on the pedals. On the downhill, I still had trouble holding her straight and steady. Yeah, holding her straight and steady. I worried about the possibility of wobbling into a passing car. Not good. Bumpy ride for passengers. Let me double check myself. Okay, over 2 hours. Awesome, I hit the 2 hour mark. Yay. Bumpy ride for passengers. My kids hated this bike. It was too bumpy, wobbly, and they were convinced I was going to veer off the path and tip us into the Willamette. Overall, I was disappointed that this bike I liked was adamantly opposed by my children. I liked it because it felt the lightest and fastest, yet I share their concern about the wobbly feel. They were very uncomfortable. Would I improve my skills and get used to a highly responsive cable steering? Or would the jittery feel of the steering become more annoying to me and all of us? It felt like this bike had a few shots too many of espresso, for better or worse. Fair enough. Splendidly smooth and steady. Details. Let's double check this here. Okay. Larry and Harry Bullet, human powered. $4,000. Splendid cycles, price adjustment, and based on customized choices. Okay. Aluminum frame, solid arm steering, choice of a standard or long deck frame, and variety of boxes. Human-powered bullets are customized, made to order. Cons: custom-made, high-quality dream bike. The ability to participate and choose the build-up of this bike is extremely exciting. Smooth ride, my kids approve. Smooth steering, the whole ride was smooth and steady. Strong brakes, a tap stop us. I felt very secure with the brakes. My kids liked this bike. They felt the smooth ride. My daughter gets motion sickness and she approved. Their approval is particularly notable because they were the most squished in this cargo box, the most tired at the most tired at the end of our day, and compared to the first bike, I didn't use the e-assist much. I think they just knew a high quality bike when they felt it. Yeah, that's fairly typical for anyone, realistically. Support local businesses. The wood cargo boxes are made in Portland. The shop is so much fun. I want to go back. My kids want to go back. We would all enjoy building our dream bike with this amazing bike bundle crew. Oh God. I have to excuse me for just a second. Okay. Feels worth it. It's hard to fork over a lot of money for a non-e-bike, but the quality and customization of this bike feels like a worthy investment in a beautiful lifetime machine. Fair. Cons: felt heavy. I think the wooden cargo box may have added a lot of weight compared to the canvas box on the Yuba, and I was feeling it. That's fair. Felt slower than the Yuba, but I was tired. Maybe I was tired, but it felt harder to pedal this bike. I don't feel zippy or zoomy. Okay. I didn't immediately fall in love. This isn't a fair assessment, as I could build a bike to love, but I didn't love the handlebars or the seat that I'd tried, and it's hard to assess what my custom bike would feel like compared to the one that has available to test ride. Okay, fair. No bench seats in the cargo box. This really squished my passengers and eliminated under seat storage space. Okay. Yep, that would be bad. This is a beautiful bike with a lot of customization options. I don't think I test rode the options I would ultimately choose. And after feeling tired on my test ride, I began to lose confidence in my plan to give up a motor. Should I really build a custom human-powered bike? I want to come back and try again for a longer ride. This is the option. Okay. And then this one I'm just going to kind of look over a little bit. I know exactly where this is going. I could give up the outlandish idea of riding a human-powered family bike. We could be just we could just keep our trike with the huge cargo box, lots of storage. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I already said though, if you really want to go without the motor, then just keep the motor off until you're ready to use it, basically. So, at any rate, I'm getting very tired. I think I'm going to call it quits. I hit my 2 hour mark, and it's going into 2.5 hours at this point. So I'm going to call that good. I'm going to call that good for the night. I'm just getting exhausted. So at any rate, what I will leave with right now is just simply the fact that I am, like I said, I'm unofficially back. Hopefully I'll make the next live stream next Saturday. No guarantees. I will do my best though. And know that I am working on this full time still. I am going to see about setting up some donation money. It'll depend. Both businesses depend on each other basically. This business depends on the other business, and the other business is going to be dependent. So it's two gears that are working together basically. They have to work together, or they have to work in tandem. So at any rate, I'm going to get off of here and have a snack and go to bed. So I will see everyone back next live stream next week. See ya.